Greetings, everyone. This is Elizabeth, and I hope you're all having a fabulous day. I am, because I get to work on Illustrator. I like Illustrator. We are going to take and do some leaves. We had a request at FSC for some skeleton leaves, which is fabulous because I need to do my November theme, which I know next month is October, but I already did Halloween for October for the FSC. So we're going to do some skeleton leaves. And I was really happy because I already have some sketches from the end of last year. I started this particular sketchbook in December of last year for the Inktober series. I accidentally found Inktober posts on, I think it was Instagram, and it's just a community where they draw with their ink pens, whether it's, any kind of drawing medium really, and they sketch or they draw for ink the whole month of October. And I was doing some catch up and trying to get inspired, and gotta love trees, so I started doing sketches of trees. Kept the bad ones too. Gotta keep those, because out of the bad comes some good, like these little guys here. I can work on and make for Christmas cards. Little fun craziness. And gel pen on black, let me tell you, it's one of the funnest things I've done in a long time. So let me show you one other one. Ooh, yeah, see, trees are just fabulous. Get that out of there. Ta-da! But we're going to work with some leaves I sketched, because the way they're built anyways, it could be a skeleton leaf. If you didn't color it in or anything, that's exactly what a skeleton leaf looks like. It's kind of choppy. All of the flesh of the leaf has fallen away, and you've got little bits, and its skeleton is left. This one is an oak leaf. We've got the maple leaf, two kinds of maple leaves. The pine cone and its little twiggies. This would be a cute Christmas one. Ooh, no, this one would be a good Christmas one. The spruce with a dangly ornament. Could you imagine foiling those in some green and then putting an ornament on the top of that? Put little gems in that. I might have to do one of these two trees for a Christmas tree card. I think that would be fun. And foil it in green. We'll have to try it out. I don't know how these little chunky little lines is going to look foiled. There's a couple more. I think that's the aspen leaf when I was looking at it. Yeah, we're getting close to the aspen tree, birch tree. So what I did to give, I took a photo of these and then uploaded them into my computer. Now, anytime I upload something I'm going to work with, and you're going to want to do it how, oops, I opened something. Okay, you're going to want to save it to where you're going to remember it, okay? So for me, I have a folder called Original Designs. And then I started a subfolder that says Tree Leaves. So then I can pop that open and see the trees and the leaves that I kind of want to work with over the next few months. Or years, however long it actually takes me to do. And I'm going to close out this program. And then everything I print is 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 8.5. So that's what we're going to work with. We're going to create a new one. We're going to go, I think we're going to go 11 by 8.5. That way I don't go too tall with the leaves. Okay, so once you get your blank page open, you're going to want to open your pictures. Open. And then we're going to go right down to where it says, for me, original designs. And then the trees, leaves. And then which one do we want to work on? I'm thinking that first one right here. And I'm noticing my acorn picture's not in there. So I'm going to have to load that up. Open. And voila, it's ginormous. Because I don't know if you can see. I've got you zoomed in all that I can. There's a little black line. That is our 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Okay. The reason this is so big is because when you take a picture with any device, you're using tons and tons of pixels, so it makes it huge. And you want that. You want it so big because you can shrink. Fabulous. But you cannot expand. So if the picture came out little bitty and you try to expand it, it would be all blurry and gross. So for me, I'm just going to click on the image, and then over here in the corner, it tells me that it's a width of 26.5 and a height of 56. It's a pretty good sized item. And the linking bars right here is locked, which means if I change one, the other is going to match. So it'll keep it in a ratio proportion. Now we did a width of 11, but I don't want it that big. So I'm going to do, if it's 11, we'll do a 5. And so then it cut the height into 10. So now we can see that the picture is yay big. And then it's much easier to work with. I can slide it over. I'm going to open up my layers. And when I get my layers, I'm going to lock the photo because I don't want to accidentally move it or do anything weird to it. And why are we still open? Close you. You're in my way. Okay, so I think it's open because of the, I have the internet open. So I'm just going to make that a little bit smaller, pull that up. No. Okay, now that I can add a layer. And each time you add a layer, it puts it on top of the layer before. You can move it to the bottom and stuff like that. But what that means is, oops, get me a paintbrush. Give me a layer 2. Okay, why can't I mark on this? Oh, I'm such a dork. Let's try this again. Okay, we are actually on the picture. We're not on the 8.5 by 11. So what I need to do is unlock that. It doesn't let you mess around in the original file, aside from shaping it. So we're going to edit, copy, and then we're going to edit. I'm going to paste it in place because I want it on this side of the screen. There we go. Now we can lock this layer, and we're going to add another layer. Now this layer, number 2, is on top, which means that it marks on top. Okay, I'm going to change that to a nice bright red or dark red. Oops, maybe not. Let's try this again. I'm going to select my line. I'm going to turn it red so you can kind of see this. Okay, so your layer placement is important. I've got this layer on top. Now if I move it to the bottom, you can kind of see my wiggle lines, but that's just because I have it highlighted. Now that red layer is gone. So you definitely want to pay attention if you're moving your layers around. If you're not seeing something, maybe something below it is hiding it. Okay, and so you just rearrange them. And of course, we don't want that, so we're going to select it and delete it. Now, I am going to enlarge this by, let's do 200%. We're going to move it over, pull it down so I can start at the top. And then we are going to do, which leaf is this? This is the oak leaf. I'm going to label this layer. And then labeling it allows me to find it later, especially if you turn off the eyeball so that you can work on other layers and create other leaves. So this whole Illustrator is just going to be my leaves that I work on. Now, that is a little too dark, so I'm going to unlock this layer, this photo, and I'm going to go to Properties, and I am going to click on the image, and we're going to turn down the opacity. The opacity says how saturated the colors are, and when you start to remove the opacity, it becomes more see-through and lighter. So now I don't have all that glaring black staring at me. I just have these nice white lines. I'm going to go back to the layers and I'm going to lock it. And then I'm going to go grab a paintbrush. Now you have in Illustrator, I do not know about other programs, you do have options. If I left click and hold, I can see 3 options for me. I typically use either paintbrush or blob tool. Blob tool, go into the layer I want to work on. Come on. There we go. So the blob tool, when you make one line and then your second line crosses over, it becomes one line, which means you cannot undo the last line easily. Now with the paintbrush, if I paint one line, paint another line, okay, I can go back and select a single line and get rid of it. So depending on how you're working, you're gonna, do you want them to join and not be easy to manipulate? Stuff like that. Can I mute these? Stinking little pop-ups. Notifications off. Out of here. Okay, so now that you have the image that you want to work with, and say you're not a drawer, you're like, I don't draw, you go to the internet, okay, and you pick something you want to draw. Then you save it to your desktop or your special file that you know where your photos are, and then you load up that photo the same way I just did my photo, and then you can trace over and work with it. Just know you need to change it drastically to call it your own, okay? Because if I went in there and traced that verbatim, that's kind of stealing. You know, it's not making it your own. It's not, you know, you want to give credit where credit is due. And I am all for tracing and, you know, really manipulating something to make it my own. Fortunately, I was able to draw what I wanted. And the original picture is a real leaf. And of course, real leaves don't look like this. So I feel safe that they're not going to be able to say, hey, that's the picture I took. So definitely keep that in mind. But I did bring up these reference materials. So I can have Illustrator open and kind of look at reference material. Okay. send this over here, and then I can say, okay, I want these little bits. This is one reason I brought it, because you still see some of the flesh on that leaf. And I want to incorporate that into my leaves. So that was really cool. And then what's the other one? This one. See how it's just fabulous how they overlapped. So I may or may not use something similar. It wouldn't foil very well, but I think that's pretty. So we're just going to add it to my inspiration pile. And let's get started. So for me, I'm not very good with the mousey on my laptop. You know, the little finger thing. Drawing with a mouse in general is a pain in the bupkis. Let me zoom you out. Well, I can't zoom you out. Okay, I'm going to jiggle the phone just a second. I had the bar over my buttons. Okay, so this is my Wacom. See the Wacom Bamboo. Okay, I don't know. I have the lighting down so that we can, there we go. It's just a bamboo. This is an older version. This one I've had for years. But they do have other brands out there. It's basically a tablet mouse. Okay, it comes with a pen. It's got an eraser. You can program that to do all sorts of stuff. It's got the tip you can program. It's got buttons you can program. It's a great, great tool. And it becomes your mouse. Okay. And I fell in love with it. I bought myself one and my mom one. So now I have two again. And the kids are excited because they get to draw with a tablet now. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make sure it's at my paintbrush. Then we're going to go into properties. The properties are going to be for the paintbrush. And if I make one stroke, I can see that it's 1 point thick. I don't know if I want to be 1 point thick. I'm going to go to a 1/2 point. That's a nice thinner line. I obviously don't want it white because my background is white. So I'm going to turn mine black so that I can see my shape versus what's in the background. Okay. And then you just go from there. And all I'm going to do is trace the basic shape out first. And I'm not too worried about the lines. I'm going to do each individual stroke. That way there, if I don't like something, I can take it back out. So say like I come in here and I whoop that around. I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't like that. I come up here, I grab that, I delete it. And that's the other thing. You can program the buttons on your bamboo. And I did a delete and a shift because I seem to use those the most. Okay, and then I go back into my pen. And then this time I'm going to swoop down much more. Come down with that. Actually going to get rid of these lines. Vamoose. And I programmed my button so that when I push this button, it grabs the paper and I'm able to move it around. Oh, and sometimes that happens. If you are doing stuff, it's like, oh, I don't remember the setting I was. So you just got to go in there and fix that. Go into the paintbrush. We're doing the half. We're doing the black. And then we're going again. Now, here's the end of my page, okay? So this is where I get a little bit creative and go, okay, what are we doing? But I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so I can kind of see where this is going. So this would probably come out like this. This would shoot out like that. This one would probably go like this with another loop. And then you can see like this line right here doesn't touch. So I'm just going to open it up and drag it over and say connect right there. Oops. Come down, grab my brush again, and we're going to swoop out this way and do a double swoop in. And these aren't straight lines. They have a little arch to them. So you could basically follow, you know, this is going to follow into that. But if you don't want the extra line, I'm going to just pull this one down into that one. Drag this over. Get back to the pen. Swoop up. Swoop over. Hit a connection. And this one, I'm gonna just make a little one. And I think we're gonna come out a little bit more with this one. Nope. That's bad. Edit, undo. And I think I'm going to get rid of this one. I think I made that wrong. So we're going to start this again. We're going to come in more. There we go. Oh, that's much better. And then arching down into the center of this guy. Lift that up. Connecting there. And then we can zoom. Hey, let's go to 400%. And now I can take my little tool and see where I need to connect those a little bit better. Maybe don't want them doing super sticking out. Those ones look good. That one looks all right. Okay, I want you to move. So like here, a leaf wouldn't really do that. So we're going to pull it into that other one, which messes that one up just a hair. It's all right. And I'm actually going to come up here to this other, and you guys tell me you were zoomed out so far. I'm just on a roll. Sorry about that. So up just a wee bit more. Don't need to really see what my hand is doing. So this is the drawing tool, the top one. And this full area, full arrow, is a, I don't know how to describe it. It's a path finder. So if I click on my line, okay, it pops up the little dots. And if I click on a specific dot, it shoots out these little handles. Let me see if I can zoom just a little bit more. Okay, so here's the little handle. And see how it kind of arches this way? If I grab, oops, come on. Give me my handle. If I grab that and pull it, it can change the direction of the arc. Okay, and now I'm going to go back to this so that now I can just move it over, and now they're more overlapped right there. But because I moved that, I need to come over here and check this out, which seems, that's all right for me. That little bump there, that's nothing I'm too worried about. I'm going to zoom this back out to something we can kind of see. And now we got all this craziness up here. Let's see what we've done here. Let's get rid of that because that's just ridiculous. And we'll come in and we're going to come down with a nice swoop. And maybe this would be a good spot to have it eaten in a little bit. So I'm going to erase some of this line here. Okay, because maybe this is not a perfect piece right there. We're going to do that. And actually, I think I'm going to do the same thing here. Just put in a little broken area. So I'm going to flip my pen around, give a little erase. Come on. And erasing the points in between. I don't know if you could see the line was kind of twitching. And that is just, and see that really changed that line. So I'm going to say edit, undo, eraser, because I like it more wiggly. And we'll just say that's good. Actually, no, I don't like that. So I'm going to grab my little anchor point. Nope, I'm on the wrong one. I want this one. There we go. So now it's got a little bit better blend. And then this one, we're just going to scooch that over. We're going to come over here. This is not doing what I want it to do, which sometimes that happens. There we go. Now they're more stacked. And this one is just a little too long. Shorten that one up. This one could go over just a hair. That one's kind of, ooh, no. Edit, undo. Let's try that again. There we go. So having that path manipulation is really good. You cannot do that with the blob tool. It doesn't play nice with the lines all the time. And here's a good one that's all messed up. Scooch that over. Oops. Edit, undo, because I don't know what I did. I want to elongate that one so it connects. Okay. I don't like how that ends, but it's given me an idea that that is another point that needs to be kind of ripped off. So we're going to tear that off. And then we're going to erase that. And then we're just going to check our connections. And this did something funny up there. I'm going to actually delete that one. Yep, that worked. All right. So now we're going to minimize this so that we can see the whole thing. Okay. Looking good, I think. We've got a little tear there. We've got a little tear there. And a little tear in here. I'm thinking should do one right here too. So we're just gonna back this down and into here, and we're gonna cut all of that out. Oops. I actually like that, but I don't like that. Let's see if we can get rid of this little bump right there. Nope. There we go. Need to zoom in because there's something funky going on there. There we go. Ah! There's this stinking little bump that I don't want. Ah. Okay, that's a little bit better. So let's zoom that back out. All right, so far I think it's looking pretty good. I'm going to go to my layers. I'm going to turn off the background picture, and then I'm going to see what I really have. Now I'm off the page a little, so I'm going to just select it all and scooch it over. Now this is huge, of course, but that's all right, because once it's all done and I combine all the lines together like the blob tool, I can minimize it and make it smaller, and it will look fabulous. Okay, I'm not digging some of these extra pointy bits, so I'm going to shorten these just a hair. There we go. All right, how's that look? So let's go back into our pen tool, and we're going to pull up that one, this one. We're going to pull up this one and kind of see what this is doing over here. And I like how it has these little bits off of the main root. So this is going to be the fun part. Let's go actually into lock the original in case I flub it up a little too much. I'm going to lock the original. We're in layer 3. And we're just going to start here at the bottom. I'm going to fill that in a bit so it's a little bit thicker. And I'm thinking, do I want it sketchy like it would be my sketch? Because that kind of looks like what's going on a little bit. So I'm just doing little bitty marks. Maybe this is a little bit more fleshy right here, so I'm going to fill that in just a little bit more. And remember, anything black is going to be foiled. So we definitely want a few areas that are going to have a little bit more color. You know what? Let me... I'm going to lock that layer and hide it. I'm going to try the blob tool because I think that might just give me a little bit more what I need. And I'm going to actually, no, we're going to leave it that size. I'm going to see what the blob tool does. Because it becomes one line and then I don't have to worry about it. And the nice thing about leaves is, yes, it's an organic item, but it doesn't always look organic. You know, it's not perfect. It kind of does its own thing. And the vines in there, I mean, they leave, the shapes are all different. Let me pull this out. Pull you closer. And you see all this beautiful detail, okay? Not any one line is the same as another. You've got a little point here. You've got this big open space here. These fine little, they're almost like little burrs on there, but they're not the same. You know, this area over here is in a kind of a diamond shape where this part here kind of rounds out more like a tip of a leaf or a feather. This right here almost looks like a bird. There's a little wing, this little birdie belly, this little birdie eyeball. You know, it just, oh, it kind of does. And then more wings. So it's very unique. So it's cool that you don't have to be spectacular with the lines. Okay, these, I'm just making short stack strokes. And this particular line just says, I'm going this way. You know, it just, I don't know why. It just did what it was doing. Okay, so I'm going to put in a little spot right there. Another little burr. And right here, I did want to do some fleshy area. We're going to just, oops, get some spikes in there. And sometimes it doesn't want to work. It's going to be a fleshy area. So this is literally like drawing with a pencil. I've got to pull you away from the camera, otherwise I'm going to keep beating you up. We need to connect that area there. Going to connect it there. Connect it there. And I'm following the outside because what I'm thinking is when I turn off the bottom layer, okay, we're going to have this nice organic-y, crazy going on. And all these straight fine lines are going to be gone. And then this is just time consuming. It's just put in little strokes and fill it in. And like on that one, they had a lot more bigger sections in the center, and then it seemed to get smaller sections towards the end. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna make this like a really big section here. And then we can turn that off and see how that looks. And I've got a little dot there that I need to get rid of. Get this nice and chunky. It's a little broken there. You know what? I don't want that super solid. I need to take out some of that. Try this again. Because we want the nice, and again, a nice thing about it, it's not perfect. So we want these white specks. When we foil it, we want it to, it's okay if it looks like there's little bits left. Of course, we don't want the little bits to be black, you know, so just hope this foil's good. Got that little dot in there. Definitely don't want any dots. I want all of my lines connected. Now, these are weathered leaves, so they're not going to be very pointy in my mind. They're just jagged and been through some stuff. Get a little burr there. No dots, just burrs. Well, that's better. Get some meaty area right here, I think would be nice. Kind of leave it open in the center. Follow the angle of this. And I like to draw like this. I like sketchy craziness. Not too crazy though. Can't have those dots in there. Oh, and then I don't know what causes those. Got to undo the blob until it goes away. There it goes. Just, yeah. Every now and then the line just makes these perfect little circles, and it's like, no! We can't have perfect circles in our sketchy leaf. Get this to be like a more open area here. Maybe that whole section is eaten out there. But this has just a little bit of flesh on it. Like a little bug and his little buddy were hanging out in this area, gobbling up some stuff. Oops. Adding too much pressure to the, it's not wanting to, what is going on here? Okay, when it's acting weird, we're going to do File, Save, Original Designs. What do I want to name this? Leaves, save. Make sure it popped up leaves up there. Having a little bit of issues. I'm going to close out this other picture. No, I don't want to save the changes to it. All right. Now let's see. There we go. It's just having a bad go. I'm not sure what's going on. My blob tool is not happy. Okay. No, what's... I may need to change the nib on this pen. These stylus, they do have, these pop out. I mean, they do get worn down, and now that I look at it, that poor thing, it might need replacing. Just kind of rotate it around, see if that helps. Looks like we're hitting 48 minutes. These are definitely a time-consuming process. I think what I will do, I don't know what I want to do. Do you want to follow along? Do you want to see how long it actually takes to do a full image? And then maybe when I do the next video, I'll do a little intro, and then did that just do that again? Stinking zeros. I need to go back a bit. There we go. The next video, I'll say hello and all that stuff, and then do a zoomed, sped up version. I was thinking about doing a series of these because I need several leaves for the main project I'm going to share for free on the FSC. I want to do like a little border of the leaves. And then we can come back and do a full video on how we combine them all to make the border. And then, of course, we'll do a video on how well they foil, and then if we need to make any adjustments. Oh, I think that looks really cool. Come on. I kind of like that. Just like that. I need to get rid of this garbage. Look at that. Back into that blobby tool. No, not the fat blobby. Hate it when it does that. No, I want a small blob. What's going on? Thank you. My goodness. Turn on that other layer so I can see where I'm going. I think this needs to be a little bit larger area of flesh. Kind of randomy. Come in here with another area. It's basically like scribbling. You just scribble some lines in there and hope for the best. Oh, I like that area now. That looks good. What does that look like? Oh, I gotta connect this line here. Little chunky areas. It's getting there. It's getting there. Yeah. If you're ever wondering, oh, this just takes too long, I'm terrible. No. Some things just take time. And if you're new and you're trying stuff out for the first time, you know, you might find you're restarting it and, you know, trying better. When you restart, just lock the layer, hide it, and re-go. Because you can always come back and revisit this and say, okay, this is what I didn't like. Like here, I started my lines one way and I'm getting a little chunkier with my lines over here. But I'm liking this area more, so I'm going to come back and add into this area. Always keep your, not every boo-boo, but, you know, keep what started out looking good and then you're not sure what happened. Keep those ones, because they'll help you in the end decide, you know, what direction you're going to go afterwards. But don't get hung up on the fine details until the very end. Okay, I'm just going in, laying some sketchy lines in, and then I'll go through, I'll zoom in, I'll find areas that I don't like right here, there's a teeny weeny dot sticking out right there. I don't really like that. This right here, not happy about how that's come out. definitely this area. I want it thicker to match this area. But those are the fine details that I'm going to go in later and fix up. So I just keep moving forward. Except when it does that. Come on, pen, keep up with me. Okay, this is weird. I mean, this is a newer computer. I shouldn't be having this issue. It's probably just my tool, my pen. Probably just need to get a new nib on there. Just zone out. Just be like, okay, just focus and go. But don't focus too much. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm just squiggling in. Just let it do what it wants to do. You know. And I think this is going to be good for this video. I'm going to actually add in some flesh into here, I think. I'll bring you back. I'll start a new video here because I'm on a roll. I'm going to keep going. But what I'm going to do is start a new video with the touch-ups. And then we'll go through that process and bringing this more to life. Let's give this a shut off. Okay, I definitely have some more work to do because I kind of like it with those lines. So I need to follow some of those lines. So we're going to go into the touch-up video. So come back and see me on my next video, okay? Thank you for hanging out with me and seeing the process of getting it just laid out there and pulling in some inspiration and all that goodness. I hope it inspires you to do something crafty and creative, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.